Hello friends, welcome back to Cooking with DeeDee. Today I'm making a stuffed pizza blanket which is inspired by the Chicago pizza puff, a staple that I recently learned about from a friend of mine who is from Chicago. Honestly, I tried to make it but it didn't come out right, so I've named mine the stuffed pizza blanket. My video did not record the first step, so I apologize for that, but I sauteed my vegetables in olive oil for about 3 minutes and I added my 1.5 pounds of Italian sausage, my W sauce, my Italian seasoning, a little bit of Cajun seasoning because I live in the South and that's what I like. And I'm going to let this cook until the meat is brown and just about done. I understand that fennel seeds is a staple ingredient in the Chicago pizza puff, so today's my first time cooking with that. So I'm adding that. Now I'm adding basil because I love basil in anything that's inspired by the Italian cuisine. I'm adding a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm using one package that I had left over from a pizza order. And don't worry about the specific measurements. I'm going to add the recipe down in the description version of this video for you. All right, this smells really good. And you can see there's a little bit of oil there. So what I'm going to do is drain this in a colander. And now I'm returning it all back to the same skillet. And no, I did not wash the skillet out because I still want those flavors. I'm adding 1 can of diced stewed tomatoes and 1 jar of marinara sauce. I'm using a different brand from what I normally use, so be sure and check that out in my recipe. Now, I'm starting this off as spaghetti because I'm not so sure my bae is going to like my stuffed pizza blanket. So I have a pot of noodles also cooking for him. And you'll see how I will bump this up to my stuffed pizza blanket. All right, the burner is on medium-high heat, and I let it cook for about 3 more minutes. And then I turned the burner down and let it simmer for another 3 to 5 more minutes because I really want these flavors to mesh. I've added 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. Make sure you have some of the juice in there with it. It looks really good and it smells so good. Now, this is optional. I added about a teaspoon of sugar. I know. Some people cook with sugar and some don't. I do. Sorry if my physician is looking, but to me, it balances out the flavors of the saltiness of the dish. And I did not add any salt, by the way. All right, this has been simmering now, and I think it's about ready for me to go on and get to the next phase. I'm going to scoop out some so that I can have some for my stuffed pizza blanket. Like I said, I am making a dish of spaghetti for my bae tonight. All right, see, that's from my bae. All right, now I'm going to add the meat sauce that I scooped out to a little pot. And I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of some tomato paste. And this is where I'm turning the sauce now into a pizza sauce instead of spaghetti sauce. And because I do like a little bit of spice, I'm adding a few more pepper flakes. And give this a little stir. And that's the consistency you want. When you're cooking spaghetti sauce, it's going to be too thin to make this stuffed pizza blanket. But this right here, this is the perfect consistency that you want. I'm adding a dash of Cajun salt. You can use Cajun salt. I'm sorry, Cajun seasoning. You can use Cajun seasoning or an all-purpose seasoning. I added Cajun, just a pinch, because it was already seasoned during my first phase of cooking this. Adding a little bit more Italian flavor. I found this fresh mozzarella cheese over in the deli at H-E-B here in Texas, and it was on sale. So I'm going to cut off a piece, and that to me is going to give it a genuine, nice, cheesy, authentic Italian taste. Now, I'm using pizza crust because I wasn't sure how the Chicago pizza puff was made, whether they use pizza crust dough or a flour tortilla like they use in burritos. I don't know. I've never had it before. I've never seen it. So I'm going to venture out and try this way. And like I said, my stuffed pizza blanket is inspired by the pizza puff. I'm not going to disrespect my friends and family from Chicago and call this a pizza puff because it's not. I am a home cook and I love to experiment and try new things. So this is my attempt at trying something on the lines of a pizza puff. And I've never used this brand of pizza dough brand. So I'm going to cut half of it and we'll start with that and see if this will work for me. I might have to use a little bit more. So right now I want to start with just half of the pizza roll. It looks thin, like some of the, pizza puff videos I've watched. So I think it's thin enough. I really don't think it's too thick, so I'm not going to roll it any thinner. I'm going to cut it in half. Like I said, I'm only going to make 2 of them today of my stuffed pizza blankets. I'm heating up the oil so that it's nice and hot. Now, I'm not so sure about the measurements, but I'm using about 3 large tablespoons full, maybe 4, of my meat sauce. I'm adding the mozzarella cheese in it. And now I'm using a tri-blend of some Mexican cheese, which has mozzarella, I think, Monterey Jack, and cheddar. And I'm going to fold it over. But I'll be honest with you, this store brand feels really thin. And I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to pick this up. I'm trying to pinch the ends together and the sides so that it doesn't spill out. Because otherwise we have a big mess. And because it's so thin, I think I'm going to double wrap it just to make sure it doesn't explode in the pot of grease. And I'm going to double wrap it. There's no particular technique. You can see I'm just doing my thing. So again, I tell myself as a home cook, I'm not a chef. So, and that's what we do. We see something, we get in there, we try it. So again, I'm pinching all the sides together so that it doesn't explode in the pot of grease. And this is rather large. So I'm going to gently place it in there. My burner is on about high. I don't have a deep fryer, so I'm just using a, this is probably a 3-quart little pot with some vegetable oil. I'm going to let it cook on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes, and it looks good. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful brown right now. So I'm anxious to see how it turns out. I'm pressing it down because I double wrapped it. I want to make sure the dough is done, and you can see it's a little crispy on one side, and that's because the pot got too hot. But let's see. Break it open. Oh my God. Looks delicious. Okay, friends. This is good. Now, is it the authentic pizza puff from Chicago? I don't think so. Remember, I was in, well, no, I didn't tell you guys this. I have a friend that lives here from Chicago, and she showed a picture of one, and I asked her what was it, and she says a pizza puff. So I did some research and tried to make it. I don't think this is it, so we're not going to call it a pizza puff, because my bae asked me, would I be comfortable giving this to my friend from Chicago, and the answer is no. Not calling it a pizza puff. But would I give it to it? Yes, because no. I should have got a napkin, I'm sorry. Mozzarella cheese, dried cheese blend, and the seasoning, it's good. So hit me up in the comments and give me some suggested names for this, okay? We won't call this a pizza puff because it's not, but it's good. Also, I really do need a deep fryer because you see it got a little crispy, dark. That pot is not conducive to deep frying, so it overheated really quickly, and that's why it's crispy. But I would not be a genuine home cook if I didn't share my bloopers with you. Peace.